Namaste Veda.
Namaste Shreya.
Do you remember yesterday, Akka was telling us a lot of stories and theories on dance and music?
I know, I was so intrigued. In fact, I want to go ask her more questions tomorrow.
Yes, I also have a lot of questions to ask her.
Then should I collect all the questions and make it a Q&A?
That's a great idea. We should do that.
Then I'll go meet her ASAP.
Okay, see you.
See you, bye. Namaste Akka.
Namaste Veda. Rara, are you done with class?
Yes Akka. So I have a few questions for you.
Is this a Q&A?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, tell me.
So the first question is, you must have practiced quite a lot when you were a child. So can you tell me about your daily routine?
My daily routine as a child, wake up early, practice, go to class, go to school, practice some more and then, yeah. But to be specific, my mother always believed, and she's right, that the best time to do your vocal exercises and your akaram, sadhakam and your basics is the early morning. So she always used to wake me up super early, like before 5. And so that would be like 1.5 hours of practice in the morning. And then if I had music class, I'd go to my guru's place for music class. From there I would go to school or college. And after college would be dance class in the evening. And then come back home, study for a very little time, and that would be it. But this was my routine almost all through school and college. I wish I could maintain such a routine now, but I'm not succeeding very much, I must confess. Having said that, the time spent in travel and transit, thankfully we had no phones. So the time spent in travel was always like either Amma used to tell me stories from Ramayana, Mahabharata, or reading something, reading dance theory. So it was a full, productive, busy day. The bottom line being, it started very early, which is possibly the hardest part for you guys.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it was a full day. But it's not like we didn't have fun. We had a lot of fun, but somehow it didn't feel like very strenuous or something. We always had a good time. But basically, this was the routine. Yeah. You have another question?
Yes, Akka. The Guru-Sishya relationship is really special in Carnatic arts. So, can you tell me what is the most beautiful part of it?
Everything is beautiful about it. The Guru is your second mother or your second father. In some cases, you're actually closer to your Guru than to your parents, especially in certain phases of life, which was definitely true in my case, I would say. Not more close, but my Gurus were very special to me, there's no doubt about it. And itu Bharatanatyamlo, allegatu Sangeetamlo, especially in Carnatic music, I've had the opportunity. When I was young, I learned from one Guru. Then when I was older, I learned from different Gurus. And finally, I spent the longest time being the Sishya of Hyderabad sisters. So every phase, I would say that my Gurus were extremely patient. I have been lucky with my Gurus, but I think every Sishya who has a good Guru is a very lucky person, because the Guru-Sishya relationship cannot be explained in one sentence. At least the way we were made to understand the Guru-Sishya relationship, it was one of implicit faith, complete faith. And whatever the Guru said was like Veda Vakantarkada. So that's how we were raised to be, and I think that's what made it as beautiful as it was. Like you trust your mother, you trust your Guru. So in my mind, that's why it is such a beautiful relationship. And especially when you get to travel with your Guru, or you in dance, or when you do productions with your Guru, you spend long evenings, late nights, sometimes traveling. So we've had the best of times with our Gurus, and it's a growing relationship. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have classes on this many days of the week and your Guru teaches you for 1 hour each evening. That's not how it works. That's not necessarily how it works. With or without that, the very fact that you are under the loving gaze of a noble Guru, that's a very comforting feeling. It's a great place to be in. You feel so confident, you feel like it's a great feeling.
Another extension, Akka. So, is there one thing, one specific thing that your guru has taught you that you would like to give it to us as our guru?
It's hard to give, but it's easy to absorb. So what I would say is that, like I said, all my gurus. So if you talk about my dance guru Rajeshwari Akka, from her I learned confidence, I learned stagecraft, I learned how to have that confidence as an artist. All that I learned from her. If you talk of Lalitamma, my Karnataka Sangeetam guru, whom very sadly I lost a couple of years ago, great loss to the entire fraternity, she really taught me much beyond stagecraft also, more than kacheri planning. Avanni kakunda, avanni normal ga we did learn, but she was such an extraordinary person that just watching her itself, or even now when I think about her, sometimes I think about, really, my God, how did she function like that? So she was a very unique person. So the thing is, like I just said in my previous question, the best thing about being under a guru is being able to be with that guru. So in my mind, the number of days I spent learning from my gurus are equally precious, and the number of days I just spent talking with them, hanging out with them, talking about various unconnected things, those are also equally precious. So the one thing that I imbibed from the guru, I would say, is a very close, affectionate bond, which I cherish to this day and I will cherish forever. And I wish that my students have the same experience with me, but like I said, that's not something I can give or teach or imbibe, that's something to experience over time. So I have a beautiful relationship with my gurus because it was a beautiful relationship anyway. So that's how it is.
I would say the same for me and you as well. Another question, Akka. So there are some specific rituals in Bharatanatyam and Carnatic music. Which ones do you think are pivotal even in modern times?
You mean my rituals that I follow, or generally the art form, the rituals?
Both.
Okay. So my rituals are not too many, in the sense if you practice regularly, you'll be ready for performance anytime. That should be the thing. You shouldn't be in a position where you need to have like too many pre-performance rituals saying I need to do this to be good on stage. That's not a very cool place to be in. But yeah, in terms of the rituals connected to learning the art form, in terms of the rituals connected to performing them, there are many. Of course, it depends on which side you look at it from, in the sense, so back in the day, like if you're looking at 7500 years ago, in the context of Bharatanatyam, the context of Bharatanatyam itself was a very different place. It was not like these kids coming and learning in a class and going. So those rituals were different, which obviously we can't follow now because that's not how the art form is today. But basically, wherever you go, long and short of it, the fact of the matter is the most important ritual is to practice a lot, to learn exactly what your guru teaches you, at least in the initial several years, to not deviate even a bit this way, that way. That's it. That would be the most important ritual. Otherwise, all rituals, like I always say, it's like a question of each guru has his own thing, right? So some people want you to do this, that, but what every guru will want you to do is practice a lot and adhere to what the guru is teaching you.
Yes, Akka. Speaking of different types of Bharatanatyam these days, today Bharatanatyam ante there is not one specific dance style, there are many variations of it. How do you feel about certain artists modernizing aspects of Bharatanatyam?
It depends on why they are modernizing it. In the sense, if they are just modernizing it because everyone is modernizing it, that's not a very ideal thing to do. If they are modernizing it because they've actually learned some aspects of modern dance, that's a different ballgame, then each to his own. So, but the least that you need to do when you're trying to modernize, it shouldn't be like you're just trying to drop off some difficult parts and replace them with some modern parts which look easier. That's not right. So like I said, if you're trained in modern dance, if you're trained in another dance form and then you want to make a meaningful sammelanam, if you want to make a meaningful union, then there is some merit to it. But unfortunately, there are as many genuine people are there who like genuinely trained, there are a handful of people who just randomly mix up things and say, oh, this part of Bharatanatyam is not cool anymore, or naaku adi raavadam ledu, I find this hard, so I'll drop it and replace it with something. That's not something I'm a fan of. And I'm a traditionalist. I'm pretty old school, as you know. But so I won't dabble too much in these modernizing things. But at the end of the day, each to his own, as long as they're not spoiling the format much being the important word, as long as they're adhering to the basics and not turning it upside down, I guess it's okay to try something like that.
Speaking of dance styles and choreographies, you have done numerous choreographies that we have seen in class. So can you tell me what your creative process is?
My creative process is anywhere ranging from super chaotic to super organized. So for the longest time ever, the joke in the class is that if Akka goes to that room, it's bad news. Because the students used to believe that I go to that room and I choreograph or compose something totally crazy, and that's going to mean trouble for them. So there still are many students who say, Akka, please don't go to the office room. So because I don't know, they think my brain works in a very different way there. But having said that, today the way Bharatanatyam and the way our class Bharatanatyam functions, it's hard to be chaotic. You need to be systematic because most of the music is pre-recorded. So when you go to the studio, obviously you need to go fully prepared. And when you need to prepare, obviously you need to write a lot. So you need to be able to imagine things as to how it is going to be on stage. So earlier when we used to dance to live music, it was the creative process would literally unfold in front of you. So you'd learn and then you'd rehearse with your musicians and you'd rehearse some more. And during the rehearsals, new ideas would come. You would have that opportunity to play around a bit. But now, especially when music is recorded, we have to be, we don't have that comfort of saying, oh, it's a creative process, so I'll figure this out later, or I'll just see how it goes. While the creative process is indeed a very open-ended thing, we have also taught ourselves to kind of bring all that creativity into a small space and say, okay, I'm letting my creative juices flow this way and that, but I'm going to bring it all together and kind of put it in a capsule and have a very concrete form to it, because that is the need of the art. When we teach online, we teach group choreography, we teach the same thing to multiple children. So we've kind of changed our working style in that way to be more systematic. So that's my current way of working.
The next question, Akka, which part of traditional living do you think is better than modern ways of living?
Everything. One word answer, everything.
How so?
But how so? Yeah, you'd say that. So when we talk of traditional living, first thing, we use more, we're connected more to nature. So we don't do things which are far from nature. I'm talking about the Bharatiya traditional way of living. Everything is connected to nature. So if you talk from matti patra, matti kundallo vandukoni tinadam దగ్గర నుంచి, from there we start to eating early. అంటారు కదా, గూట్లో దీపం నోట్లో ముద్ద. We eat early, we eat on time. It's good for you, it's good for your digestion. You wake up with Suryodayam, you wake up on time. So everything, all aspects of traditional living, if you look at it, now the West is telling us this is good for you. They say do intermittent fasting. And we're like, oh, intermittent fasting is cool. That's what our folks used to do, right? So now people are telling you that it's better to read physical books. That's what we used to do. So all aspects. People tell you now when you go to the West, you have, not that I'm dissing the West, but I say in terms of modern education also, now we have people looping back saying you should learn some things by rote, you should learn some things by writing. Raste memory is better. So all this is exactly what we were doing. We were doing the right thing. So which is why I said all aspects of traditional living, try to live by it, try to follow it. Not that I can do it or I'm able to do it, but yenta varaku, as far as possible, definitely try to live a traditional lifestyle.
I completely agree with that. Another fun question, which will probably be the last, because I think I have to go home. So, if you can ask a Vagyekara any question.
Many questions. Actually, my question would be for Vagyekaras, composers, Vidwans also, is that among other questions, the first question that comes to my mind is that out of all the possible emotions, Bhakti and Shringara, these have been covered a lot. I'm sure all the other rasas have also been covered, but somehow when music and dance also came down from the Vagyekaras, the composers, to the Vidwans, to us, somehow Bhakti and Shringara have stayed, and other related things. So we don't get to see too many compositions surrounding the other rasas. That's one question. A second funny question, not a funny question, but I really think about it. When you look at songs connected to the Vatsalya rasa, that's the mother and child, somehow the first thing that you find is only Lalipata, Jola, lullaby. So but we know that our moms don't just put us to bed. They do a lot more than that. They tell us stories, they tell us how to be brave, they tell us how to be clean, they tell us how to do the right thing. But somehow, like I said, I'm 100% sure that we have a large number of compositions, and I do know, in fact, there is, even in Tamil literature, there is one poem that I actually know of where a mother is teaching her child how to be brave and how to go and face the enemy in battle. So all those are there, but somehow when it came Vadukala Vachetapatiki, when we think of mother-child, we somehow end up only thinking of Lalipata, which is a bit disappointing. So I would like to ask them, why is it that they only somehow didn't popularize these other compositions or these other poems or other songs as much? I would like to ask them that, and I would also like to have a separate Q&A with them. But I guess that's it for today, right?
Yes, Akka.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye, Akka.
Namaste.
See you. Namaste.